Welcome to Montreal Rocks. And today, very excited to have Maya Malkin. Now, first of all, Maya, I don't think I can ever say congratulations out loud and not in my head hear myself auto-tuned.
That is so funny. The amount of text messages I got on the day that I released that song with people being like, congratulations on congratulations. It was, yes, and same. Every time I hear congratulations, I'm like, congratulations. It's like silly.
I wanted to start by saying that we have something in common. So the year would be 2006 and a neighborhood I just moved out of.
Plateau.
The
Say
point.
Henry? The point. Oh, wait, what do you mean?
Well, you were in a movie in 2006 called The Point.
Oh my God. How do you know that?
All about my old neighborhood. I'm in Verdun now, so
That is so funny. No one has, yes, I was in a movie very briefly.
and I believe I saw another Malkin in the credits. So obviously there was somebody in your family that,
Nepotism.
yeah. Okay, I
No, no,
wasn't going to
no.
say it. But
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Yes, it was my mother's movie. She was producing it, and she just asked if we wanted to be like my. I didn't play like a major role at all. I was like just a friend of someone, and I don't think I even had any lines, or maybe I had one. I don't remember. It was not a big role, so. But yes, I helped her out.
oh, that's cool. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
It's super funny. I can't believe that you found that.
Like I said, I don't do interviews the way that normal people do interviews. So I always like to start with like your origin story. So normally I like to ask the question of picturing yourself maybe as a small child and you're maybe flipping through your parents' CD collection or maybe album collection or maybe 8-track if you go old enough. I don't think you are. Uh, and maybe there's a song or a band that kind of spoke to you differently, or some moment in your life where music kind of went from something you heard to something you felt. Do you have that moment?
mm, Something I heard to something I felt. That's a good question. I know that so I've said this story before, but it's because it is the clearest memory I have of I don't know if this answers your question because it's more like when I like heard an album that I thought maybe I could actually sing, because I had only ever really heard like people kind of like Christina Aguilera and stuff like that when I was younger, of like these like belting kind of like divas. And when I got the Tegan and Sarah album The Con for Christmas, I had never heard voices like that. I didn't even know that that could be put on a CD. I didn't even know that music like that could be made. So I kind of like, it was the first moment in my life where I heard music and I was like, oh, like maybe I can sing. And but maybe that's also not answering your question. I feel like in another like I feel like maybe when I experienced like heartbreak for the first time, that was when like I turned to music to really like cry or heal, or I experienced music in a completely different way, which was probably at like 17 or 18 or something. It was like I had always listened to music and I thought music was fun, obviously, but it was never like this emotional, it never had emotional weight. It was always just kind of like something I did for fun. And then all of a sudden it was like I was hurting. And so I turned to music and it did a completely different thing for me.
No, it's exactly what I was thinking of as an answer. I did not know what you're going to say, obviously, but you kind of painted us a good picture of that band or something that really kind of shook things up in your musical world, and that's what I always look for. And of course, in the way that you produce music now, and I want to talk about it a little bit later on when we kind of go into your videos, but you do have a style that's kind of considered pop, yet it has a lot of depth, a lot more
Thank
than
you.
you might think, especially if you examine the lyrics. But I still want to kind of stay with your childhood a little bit. We're kind of going to go a little bit further along in your journey. Are we to expect any flute solos on any upcoming albums or songs?
Oh my God, I wish I was good at. Okay, when Lizzo made the flute cool, I was like, oh my God, I have never felt more seen, because I had to play the classical flute for like 7 years at my high school. I went to an art school, And I didn't want to play the flute. I wanted to play the cello, but they said that I was better at the flute. And so I had to be in the flute section. And so, yes, I played the flute for 7 years, but I haven't kept it up. I do own a flute. It's not here in this apartment, it's at my mom's house in Montreal. But I would love to do a flute solo. I just don't think that it would be that good, but I could try. I would love to.
Well, maybe one of these little videos that you do where you do covers, maybe you can do a Lizzo cover and do the flute.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be like she's the thing about her is that she's so good at it that it's like you're like, how did you get that good at at the flute? And also she dances while she's doing it, obviously. Me, it's like it would be like 3 notes and it wouldn't be impressive, but I can still make a sound, which some people think is cool. But I will practice.
Okay. The origin of your name, Maya, has different meanings. I like to sometimes look into a band name, but this is your own personal name. It can either mean a dream or an illusion. It can mean water or it can mean good mother. There's a lot of different, you know, they don't know exactly what it means depending on which language you're breaking it down upon. So which do you identify with and why? What meaning comes out for you?
Well, actually, so my full name is Maya Malkin. Kali is a Kali, and she's like a goddess of like war and death and time. And I feel like that's the one that I, for some reason, have always connected to while growing up. Because I just like Googled it when I was really young, and I just saw this like badass kind of like empowering like goddess lady who's like, I don't know, guarding the gates of time. And I was like, that seems really cool. And so I always, it's funny because my name is like Clarity, and then it's like goddess of death and time and war, and then my last name means like ugly old witch or something. And so I always just thought my combination of names was just like a very funny mix. So yeah, I always pictured myself as this goddess of war and time.
Basically, you yield a lot of power
Yes, exactly.
internally.
Exactly. I'm a storm.
Let's move forward in time.
Okay.
I want you to finish this story. A girl with a ukulele walks into a karaoke bar.
And she said, I say,
But isn't that how you started in music? You were in a
yes, it is.
karaoke.
Yes, it is. I was going to say, and I say, hey, do you play music? And she says, yeah, do you? And I go, yes, I do, but just in my bedroom. And then she says, want to come over? Because I'm starting a band. And I say, yes, I do. And then, yes, that's how Motel started. It's a very happenstance, meet cute movie moment. And it really changed my life. It was crazy how like a tiny moment like that, that's just like, I'm 19 starting a job at a bar, and actually the manager didn't show up that day, so I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to pour a beer. I didn't know anything. And so Emily walks in and she had just quit. And so she knows how to run everything. And I was like, I don't understand how to do this. Can you help me? And so it was just like a very funny, like we could have never crossed paths, right? She didn't work there anymore. So it was just like very bizarre. But yes, that's how the band
Maybe you
started.
wielded time to make sure that happened.
It's true. It was
Out of
my
your
inner
powers.
inner time goddess being like, this is the moment.
So, like a lot, we talked about this a little bit at the outset, but like a lot of artists, you're able to kind of decipher these deep emotions through the outlet of writing. Do you have like an aha moment where maybe a past event took on a new meaning for you? Maybe like a light bulb moment after actually writing it down and kind of going through it in your head?
Wait, sorry, a light bulb moment for what? For
Well,
music
maybe
or
when a
writing?
past event kind of took on new meaning. Sometimes we go through like trauma or different things that happen to our life, and we put a negative connotation on it. But then maybe later on it says, well, you know, I really grew as a person because of that event. And you kind of get to realize that only when you really take the time to examine your past, but give it a new meaning.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think most of songwriting is exactly that, is like you write a song, because like for me, I was a shy kid, so I didn't really understand. Sometimes I didn't understand how I was feeling, and if I wrote a song, it would literally kind of highlight that emotion. Or like even just when I started playing chords on the guitar and started singing things, it's like that's when I realized like, oh, this is what you've been feeling. You just didn't really know how to say it. And so I think songwriting in general is that it's like kind of expressing something that you didn't even necessarily realize you were feeling. But also songs take on new meanings after
Mhm.
like years of playing them and stuff. Like I'm trying to think of an example with the band because we played those songs so many times. But like let me think. I mean, also just even like heartbreak or whatever, right? Like that first album is all of our accumulated heartbreak. As like at the time, I think I was 19. Emily was like 4 years older than me, Clara 3 years older than me. So we were all kind of had our first heartbreak moments not that long before. And that album was before anything happened, because the band really did take off, was just how we were feeling. But
Mhm.
that album became the reason that we were selling out shows, that we played Osheaga, that we got signed to Warner Canada for distribution, that we like so many things, that like all these like sad negative emotions then were definitely turned into this like happy moment for us, because we were playing opening for Tegan and Sarah, like the band literally that I just was talking about, as like one of my biggest influences at like 22, to like this gigantic sold out crowd. And it's like, wow, like these boys really hurt our hearts, but like look at what we've done with our feelings. Like now it's like this just, it doesn't even feel like pain anymore. It's like it was supposed to happen, you know?
Heartbreak is quite the muse.
Absolutely.
So you have at least two well-produced videos out right now. You have Hostage and Congratulations.
Mhm.
Both are kind of like tongue-in-cheek, but
Yeah.
like I said earlier, deep down there's a depth to the lyrics that you write and the feelings, and as you're saying, like a lot of it comes from heartbreak as well. I want to start with the Hostage. Um, Malcolm, not going to say this right.
Malkin in the middle.
Malkin in the middle versus Malcolm in the middle. Uh,
Yes.
I love this line in the little videos that you sent me, or not sent me, but put in your YouTube video to go look for the reference material, where it said, "Should I be impressed or horrified?" As Malcolm says, seeing his dad dance with the on the roller skates. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's my favorite episode of Malcolm in the Middle.
Is there like something like, I mean, the whole thing is about the dad teaching the son how to roller blade or roller skate at that time, in a very kind of awkward way. But is there anything in your life that you're maybe a lesson that your parents taught you that at the time seemed kind of awkward and odd, but was very valuable to you later on?
Oh, is there a lesson that my parents taught me that has been that seemed awkward at the time but has been valuable over time, like getting really good at rollerblading? Hmm, that's a really good question.
I mean, the lunges and all that was really awkward.
Yes, well, I don't know how to, clearly I'm not great at rollerblading or dancing for that fact, but like that's a I mean, the fact that I could even rollerblade was honestly something that shocked the people that I was working with for some reason. Like I'm acting obviously in the video, or like
Mhm.
being like overtly dramatic in the video, but I used to rollerblade with my mom all the time. And so when my director was like, well, you really got to practice like the rollerblading parts, were like we're getting close to the shooting dates, and I was like, Adam, I know how to rollerblade. Like I'm fine. And he was like, what? How do you know how to rollerblade? I'm like, because I was a kid once. Like I don't know. I used to rollerblade with my mom all the time. So that skill actually did come in handy on set, because I wasn't like nervous about being on the rollerblades or anything, and I could move around pretty well. But also I think in general, like my parents, skills that they taught me that have come in handy are literally just being themselves, because they are both in creative fields. And so in my brain, it has never been like can I do music kind of situation. It was always just like, oh, it's a no-brainer. I will either be in filmmaking or in music or in some sort of artistic field. And I didn't even realize that that was kind of like a privileged perspective, or that it wasn't what everyone else thought growing up, until I kind of just like, until one day it hit me that some people are like, well, that's risky. I had never thought once that's risky, because both my parents, that's
Mhm.
just what I've seen growing up, right? So yeah, they've taught me a lot of life skills and a lot
I
of
think I really like the going back to when you said be yourself. I think that encapsulates a lot about how your persona is on social media. Uh, in fact, I don't think I've seen an account that has so many funny faces. You don't see, and it's endearing. It's really it's it makes you who you are, and you just feel attracted to that because you're going, no, she's just being her, and I think that's it's a great thing.
well,
Don't ever
thank you.
stop. Don't
Thank
ever
you.
stop.
Yeah, my managers were like, you have to write the captions to your like posts, because like sometimes it's like if I don't have time to post, we can be like, oh, maybe you can post it, but it's like, but you have to write the caption, because no one can say it the way that you're gonna say it, because it doesn't sound like it's you if we say it. I'm like, fair.
So now you have the newest video. Congratulations. On it, you touch on two topics. And I'm going to start with the first one that I saw myself anyway, or my interpretation, which is fame and popularity.
Hmm.
What is the price to pay to becoming popular? You had some popularity with the Motel band, and now you are also getting recognized. The Walk of Fame and all that. What's the price to pay for popularity?
Well, interesting, because it's interesting that you say that I've succeeded in being popular or whatever, because I feel like I still haven't. But that's like, and also that's not the
No, but
goal,
you
right?
have friends. Also, you're in the music industry. You're in the
Oh,
movie,
for sure,
so
for
you've
sure.
seen the effects, and you can protect yourself. But what are the effects that you've noticed?
I just feel like a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to do what I do and like keep up the momentum and like keep up the, like, not only is it like so expensive to be in the music industry, but it's like it's a lot of putting yourself out there, it's a lot of believing in yourself, it's a lot of like ignoring like mean comments or hateful comments and like focusing on good ones. Or even with the band, like when we first started, there was a lot of like there was a lot of positive press, but there was also some negative press, and it's like kind of like dealing with that and juggling that is like not that easy. But a lot of people, when they see you having accomplished certain things, they assume that like either that you're full of yourself, or that you have gotten it easy somehow, or that you don't deserve it, or that you're not actually working that hard, or that they can just kind of come into your life and like stir up things, and like that they deserve equal parts to this thing that you have accomplished or set up for yourself. But actually that's like a decade in the making, like you've been working towards that for so long. And so I feel like there's a price to pay in terms of like being very selective of the people that you will spend your time and energy on, because you can't afford to have anybody doubt you, because you're already trying every day to like keep up your own energy in terms of like you can do this, or like someone trying to hold you back or deflate you or any of that. Like there are a lot of people like that, unfortunately. And yeah, I think it's just, yeah, you just got to be protective of yourself. And uh I think, yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah, and I like the fact that you kind of mentioned it's like a decade long overnight success.
Yeah, because even when you see, even like with the band, right, we saw immediate success within the first album, but it wasn't then just like continuous success. It's like you're always like working towards the next project, and like days that people are maybe staying home and relaxing, you're not doing that. You're writing the next album, you're going into the studio, you're networking, trying to find people that could potentially work with you on this. You're trying to save money to make these albums, because they cost up to $35,000 to record, release, and everything. Like it's not cheap, it's not easy. It's like you really got to want it, and you really have to work towards it, and you really can't get distracted, because any sort of momentum that you work towards can be deflated overnight if you decide for 6 months you don't feel like doing it.
Mhm. More importantly, I want to talk about the second topic that I saw in that video is toxic friends. And we just talked about it a little bit, specifically relationships. So what are some of the telltale signs that you are in a toxic relationship, and what can be done to escape?
Well, it's difficult. That's a really hard question to answer, because all relationships are different, obviously, and there's different types of toxicity when it
Have
comes
you had
to.
people reach out to you to say like,
Oh
mm,
yeah. So many people have messaged me being like, I'm healing after this traumatic experience, and I'm blasting your song and like bouncing on my bed trying to get better. And like that's like the whole point of it. So it makes me so happy to get those messages. But at the same time, as soon as you start being open about trauma or toxicity or abuse or any of it, like people, there are so many like me toos that happen, and it's kind of frightening to see how many women, especially women, are going through these situations. And I just want everybody to feel better and find peace. But yeah, I don't think there's any, couldn't say there's like specific signs. I think you just need to follow your gut and like know what you deserve. And if you feel like someone is abusing your time or your energy, or not treating you properly, or any of it, because it can also show up in like a seemingly positive way of like being so in love with you, and like, but that can turn very dark sometimes if they want all of your time
controlling?
and all of your energy and all of your attention, and they don't like it when you're not with them. And there's just like there's a lot of different ways that it can appear. So I think you just have to follow your gut, and also don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you want to talk to me, you can slide into my DMs. I'm happy to help.
All right, and of course the video is actually very fun. You kind of slip into these different musical genre personas. If you can perform a whole show in one of those personas, which one would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Which one was my favorite? I like all of them. I think the one that was like the most far, well, they're all really far from me actually, but like I really liked having the like green extensions, which was like kind of like the Gen Z look because
Mhm.
I'm a millennial. So for me, it's like anytime I get to play dress up and like kind of be like I fit in with like the younger kids now, I'm like, this is fun. So like wearing the snakeskin pants and having the green hair and stuff was super cool. But I think the one that was the most me of all of the looks was like the black and white look, where I was just wearing like a simple dress and kind of like a coat and like the glasses. That was the one where I was like, oh, I actually look like I could wear that in real life. But I love costumes in general, so like I'd probably wear all of them at a show to be honest. But like if we're saying the one that's the most in line with my own fashion sense, it would probably be the black and white look. But I'd also love to dress up like a Gen Z. So
So you also collaborated recently with What If Elephants on the song Sugar Daddy, which we've had a couple times on the show. Uh, how was that experience? Do you enjoy collaborating with other bands like What If Elephants? And
yeah, I love it. It's so fun. It's so fun to step into someone else's like creative world and kind of like put on that hat for a while because it's like you get to just try out different things and you always like for me it's like a lot of it is songwriting and a lot of it is singing. So I get to sometimes try different things with my voice that I wouldn't, or you just get to like kind of like be yourself but on a completely different type of song. So I always love collaborating with other people and I've known Joey forever, so it's always fun. Like he's such an angel. He has helped me through many things and like he shows up to my shows to help me set up like even just using like in-ear microphones. Like he'll do anything for me. Like he'll like help me with my gear or he'll help me with like I had an audition for La Voix once upon a time and he literally the night before I was like I need someone to go with me at like 5 in the morning and he was like I'll do it. And it's just he's just the best.
I like to finish off with a little game I like to call Fantasy Rock Band. It could
Okay.
be fantasy pop band. You know, you've probably heard of fantasy football, fantasy hockey, all those things. I'm not a big sports fan. I'm more into music. So let us create, as we finish off our little interview, the perfect pop or rock band. Who would you put in that band, dead or alive, singer,
Mm.
backup? You know, like normally it's guitarist, bassist, and drummer.
How big can my okay, guitarist, bassist, and drummer.
I mean,
Okay, but
I've had some people put in horn sections and all kinds of stuff. So feel free.
um
Let us build the
okay.
ultimate Maya band.
I feel like my band would be well, first of all, it'd be an all-girl band because I love playing with female musicians. Guitarist, bassist, and drummer. I feel like I just want to be in Josie and the Pussycats. I don't know if that's like the most lazy answer ever, but I'm like, maybe I could just have my own version of Josie and the Pussycats, and it's like Rachel Lee Cook and like Tara Reid just like behind me, and we're all in like our cat outfits. But if I have to pick like real people, because that's not really a real band. Um,
Some
good
would
question.
argue.
Some would argue. It's true. Actually, that is a real band. There's a real band that wrote all the songs from the soundtrack. Let me Josie and the Pussycats soundtrack. It's like an indie band from like US from the US or something. Who wrote that?
Well, the
Do you
interesting
remember?
part is that it seems very you. It's about having fun and being in costumes.
Absolutely. Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of like female musicians right now that I would love to work with. Like there's like right now I've been really obsessed with this girl named Kelsey Carter. She's like this kind of like rocker chick. She's always dressed up in like leather pants and like red lipstick and she has like a blackish mullet kind of thing. And but her music is so fun. It's like a upbeat like pop rock kind of thing and I would love for her to be in my band and any other girl like that like Ren for short. I've been obsessed with her. um I mean I love the classics as well. Like I am a Taylor Swift girl. I am Tegan and Sarah. They could be in my band. I'm like my band is like 78 people, so
Yeah. It's even like more like a review back in the old days. They'd have like, you know, two people come in, start singing, and then they'd move out and two other people would come take their place and just kind of a revolving cast of characters.
yes,
I
absolutely.
look forward to seeing that band. I also look forward to you continuing your shows congratulations on all the work that you've done so far in your solo project. I think it's going really well. It seems to be really resonating, and like I said, the songs are extremely catchy. We look forward to your next release, hopefully soon, and we hope that you can keep on this journey and keep entertaining us, and not only with the songs that you make, but also the message behind them that can make girls dance in the bed as they cry through and kind of break through on that maybe some trauma that they've had and kind of escape from that. We hope that it can happen. So thank you
Well,
so much
thank
for being
you.
with us.
Thank you so much, Randall. It's been so nice. I love like your very specific questions. They were so fun to answer.